up, you guys? I'm Kirsten, and welcome to Kirsten Naturally. Today we're talking about my experience with doing yoga every day with Yoga with Adriene and what it's like to do 170 days of yoga straight. I've gotten a ton of questions and feedback from you guys about my video review of Yoga with Adriene and her 30-day challenge and what it's like to do that. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check that out. I'll link it up here for you. Rather than list off the questions and comments that I got from you guys, I thought I would just try to hit all the answers within this video. What we're going to talk about today are the physical changes like flexibility and muscular changes, the mental changes, so happiness, motivation, overall mental state, and then we'll touch a little bit on diet and what kind of diet I did while doing yoga. So without any further ado, let's get the show on the road. So let's talk about the physical changes first. After practicing daily yoga for this long, I definitely became more flexible. I definitely noticed a lot more changes in my overall ability to touch my toes even. For example, I used to be able to touch my toes with just the tips of my fingers. Now I can do a forward fold with both palms flat on the ground. So there's a bit of flexibility increase there for sure. And if you guys watched my first video, you know that it did not take 170 days to get that kind of flexibility. So do not let that discourage you if you're feeling like, well, it's gonna take me so long. You know, if you saw that video, I was feeling the flexibility pretty early on. So now what about weight loss? I definitely noticed a bit of fat off my body without any real effort, particularly in my stomach and midline, and then my thighs, inner thighs. I definitely noticed that I lost at least a couple pounds of fat. I don't weigh myself on some kind of schedule, but every now and then I hop on the scale just out of curiosity, and I definitely did lose some weight visibly and physically saw the number change. I think that I lost probably about maybe 3 pounds or so. And that doesn't really matter, you know, the pounds or how much you lose. Everybody's individual, so don't even let that affect you. Just know that moving your body like this and doing a physical exercise like yoga every day that's easy on your body yet still pushing you is going to help you lose fat. Whether you lose 3 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever, that's subjective to you. So I did gain, when I lost weight, I also gained quite a bit of body muscle. I didn't get super ripped or anything like that because I wasn't adding a lot of weight, just using my body weight, which is technically how yoga goes. You're not really adding a lot of weight, but what you gain is a lot of body strength. You're able to hold your body up and do things like even a push-up. I really couldn't do a proper push-up before doing yoga daily, and now I can do a vinyasa plank to chaturanga to up dog to down dog over and over and over again. And before I started, I didn't even think that that was possible. I don't know, I guess it kind of looks easier than it is, but once you start, you feel like, wow, how do they do it so like flowy and beautifully? But it really comes with body strength, which you will gain body strength doing yoga. Even just being in a plank, you'll start to be able to notice that those things like that will get a lot easier. I was going to say what muscle groups I felt like got the most toned, but I kind of honestly realized when I was planning for this video that every part of my body was really affected. My core, my arms, my legs, my butt, all of it. It was really a full body experience of toning and just overall strength and capability that I was pretty blown away by, because like I said, I wasn't really trying to gain that. It just was coming with the daily practice. I also gained a lot more control of my fingers and toes. And what I mean by that is I used to not be able to spread my fingers so well, and particularly spreading my toes. And if you don't know how to do this, or you can't do this, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I was not able to do this at all until I started doing yoga, and you actually gain this ability to spread all of your toes with control. And that was like kind of crazy. Now they're like their own creatures, like a starfish, to be honest. Now let's go ahead and start talking about the mental changes, like motivation, happiness, and overall mental state. What happened to me and what maybe you could expect happening to you after doing yoga for so dang long. As you probably saw in my first video, the first 30 days of yoga was pretty much life-changing for me. I gained so much motivation and was able to really just power through so many things in my life that I needed to do and get done. And I think that doing something every day for honestly, probably the first time in my life like that, helped me to realize how simple taking action really was and how much I am in charge of the things that I do and what I want to do. So while that motivation is great and it feels great, I'm not gonna lie to you, after 30 days or so, it's not like that stays around forever every single moment of the day. In fact, there are times that it kind of fades, in particularly when life gets kind of busy. And for me, if I had not been able to fit in my yoga in the morning and I put it off until right before I'm going to bed, those were the days that I did not really feel super motivated or very much like, I can do this, I can do everything I need to do today. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that's gonna happen to you too. But I still was able to squeeze in those yogas before nighttime, before I went to sleep, I should say. And that's the important part. And it helped me learn that even when you're not so motivated, just committing to something that you've decided you wanna do is success, even if it's not super sparkly and amazing every moment of the way. Which kind of brings me to my next point. I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys about having trouble with doing yoga every day and kind of what it's like to get back onto the yoga train and how do you do that? How do I get back in? And I would say that the biggest realization that I made out of anything that I gained from yoga, no matter how much muscle I gain or how much strength, the biggest thing that came, or the biggest benefit that I got from doing this was realizing, and is realizing over and over again, that doing what you want in life is very simple. You just do it. And that may sound kind of silly, but we as humans living in this very busy world we've created for ourselves, it's necessary that we remind ourselves as often as possible to take a moment to step back and say, why is this so hard? What am I really trying to do here? If I'm trying to do yoga every day, what can I do right now? One day of yoga. That is it. That is all you can do, and that is what you should do. So if you're in that boat right now where you feel down on yourself that maybe you were doing yoga every day and you slipped off the boat and you want to get back on, or maybe you've never started doing yoga and you really want to start, but you feel intimidated, let me remind you, this is a one practice at a time process. There is no such thing as doing 100 days of yoga in one day. You have to go one day at a time. So there's no sense in bogging your mind down with the thought of 30 days, 100 days, how many days? It's just today. Do yoga right now in this moment that you're worried about it. And then guess what? You're back in, homie. You're in the game and you've started yoga. So when you're here tomorrow, you're just gonna do what you did today, one stinking yoga, and it's gonna be great. And every day that you feel this, you'll realize, oh, it's actually a lot easier than I thought to just do one thing. And it adds up, and it adds up. And who cares if you skip a day? Who cares if you skip 10 days? You come back, and that's all this is about. Yoga is not some strict procedural thing where once you've done 30 days, you're a master, and if you've never done 30 days consecutively, you suck. It's just not like that. So please don't beat up on yourself. Just do yoga right now. Do the things that you want in life. One little step. That's success already. Even more importantly, messing up and not doing yoga every day, it's not unforgivable. Forgive yourself. This isn't that big of a mess up. Forgive yourself and move on. Do not dwell on these things. That is something that I really had to learn, was this is not that big of a deal. This is about your happiness and your commitment and your day-to-day life. And that is something that you should just take the cortisol out of and try to enjoy. So that was a whole lot, and we're gonna bring it down just a notch. So let's move on to dietary changes. I've gotten a ton of questions from you guys about whether or not I dieted during my 30 days of yoga or my 170 days. Did I continue a diet or anything like that? The answer to that question is no. I don't go in and out of any particular diets. I do follow a daily plant-based whole foods diet, and honestly, that has made me feel and look better than I ever have in my whole life. So I definitely will be sticking with that. I would say even more important than doing yoga is putting nutritional good fuel into your body. So eating plants, a whole foods plant-based diet is definitely that. So if your goal here is to start getting more healthy, I would definitely say that what you put into your body is much more important than what you do outside of your body and with your body. So by all means do yoga, but definitely consider what you eat every day. All right, you guys, the sun is going down and I'm getting all kinds of crazy lighting on my lavender here in the back that I picked from Mount Hood. I have a video on that if you haven't seen it. I'll put it up here for you guys. I am so grateful that you guys have written into me and asked me so many questions, and please feel free to ask me any more. Talk to me about your yoga journey in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.